Okay, hi guys, how are you? Welcome to Spilling the Tea. I'm Giselle. Bring the topics you want to hear from the people you want to hear from. Yes, guys.
Yes, God.
As you can notice, Chasmar is not with us. He's actually took a break so that we can have ladies meeting in the ladies' room.
It is the girls' takeover
Yes,
today.
it is. Girls take over. We are missing one guest, Danielle. She couldn't be with us, but you are here in spirit, girls. So.
Yes, we love you and we hope that you're tuning in.
Yes, tune in definitely. As you can see, I have my lovely sisters here with me. Starting with Janelle, she really needs no introduction at all.
You guys know that I'm a friend of the show.
Mm-hmm. Our honorary guest.
An honorary guest. I've also sat in as a co-host, so I feel very honored to be asked to come back again. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Tell us a little bit about the work you do at MOCA.
Well, I'm a community health specialist, so we offer testing and linkage to PrEP, linkage to HIV care, help with housing, help with mental health issues. We do a lot of homegrown interventions. I personally offer a trans support group every Monday from 4:30 to 6 called Living Authentically. So if you have a trans experience, if you come from trans experience, if you have questions, feel free to stop in. We're a drop-in center, so we're always open and welcome. And if you would like to sit in on a group, you would be welcome, more than welcome as well.
Yes, most definitely, yes. And my beautiful sister, Lexi. I call her Lexi. But what would you rather be called?
I mean, all of the people that know me call me Lexi, so it's just a nickname that sticks. I mean, but my name is L'Oreal Hadley. I'm originally from Florida by way of Atlanta. I'm new here. So I'm super excited to have my sisters here and us to take over.
Yes, God, girl, take over. Yes. So before we get started in our topic, which is going to be juicy, I'm going to have a couple things I got to hit off. And also, guys, when we start discussion, feel free to comment, likes. We love likes, comments, any questions you have for our guests once we start our topic. But just a quick recap of the weekend coming up. Today, we actually, happy birthday, Rebel Flower Bomb. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Today's her book release party. So it starts at 5. So make sure you guys tune in. As well as LGBT Freak Fright Night tonight with Kimi. He also having a party at 11:30, so make sure you be there.
Yes, he was featured on my show today,
okay.
Brunch with the Bunch, which is on WAYO. Every Saturday, we play music and try to inspire conversation and things to clean your house and get up and get motivated. So every Saturday from 2 to 3, you can tune in to 104.3. Or if you are not local and you want to tune in, go to wayofm.org. Every Saturday, Eastern Standard Time from 2 to 3 p.m.
Yes, God. And then Sunday coming up, we have the Prep to Slay Trillion Ball. That's going to be down at 140 Alexander, from 7 to about 9. Peaches will be the commentator for that event. And also, between the same following, we would have had the Shake It Up party, but it's been canceled due to the fact of that our dear brother, Reese's brother, passed away.
Reese's brother passed away?
He passed away, and so he canceled the event. So most definitely, all our prayers go out.
Definitely, all of our condolences.
Most definitely.
I'm gonna have to reach out to him.
Yes, most definitely do that. So now that we got these out the way, let's go down into our topic today. And I didn't really have like a really like rounded topic today. I just was kind of like me just having my sisters here and having like tea talk, having coffee chat with my good sisters about what it is to be a black trans woman, dealing with dating, life, men, it's just all that good stuff, So.
Well, I want to say hi to Jovi and Calvin and Carl and Timok Prescott. Thank you guys for tuning in. And thank you for all the compliments. You guys are too kind.
Yes, thank you guys. Thank you.
So I think the direction that the conversation wanted to go in was just about our experiences and being trans women in a community in the United States, in a world that is not as open to trans or there's still so much education around trans individuals that needs to be implemented in our communities first. And I think that's the direction.
So, can you tell us a little brief, a little brief description of you coming out as you when you decided to transition?
Well, I never got an opportunity to like literally come out. I've always been the same person. So my family already knew.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think that I don't think that they knew that, you know, that I was trans, but they definitely knew that I was involved with the LGBTQ community. So I never really had an opportunity, or I never had to experience that outlet. So I commend so many of my trans or LGBTQ brothers and sisters who have had to go through that experience. It could be very hard. For me, I've always been the same person, so my family knew that it was something different about me.
What you like?
For me, I was always feminine in my beginning days, so it was kind of like everyone knew, but I don't think they knew to the extent. You know, I feel like anytime in the Black community, if you're born male and you show any type of feminine, you know, any type of feminine traits, they automatically deem you're going to be, you know, a homosexual, that's all, or you might like gays, or you might be, you know, gay. So for me, I had to kind of like really just have a conversation with my mom and let her know that I was going to take the steps necessary to be the woman who I felt God called me to be. So she was supportive about it, but I definitely wanted to let her know because I didn't want her to be shocked, you know, because that's when I wanted to start hormone therapy. So.
Okay, definitely. So,
Hi Marvin, hi Prince, hi Joseph,
What
hi
about you?
Kimi. I hope you had a great time on Brunch with the Bunch.
what about me?
Yeah.
I think ever since I could think, I knew I was different. I think it was something that it's just what it was. Since I could actually form a thought in my mind, I didn't know I was trans, I didn't know if I was gay. I just knew that I was different. I knew I was attracted to men, and I knew that I felt like a girl inside. And time went on, and then, you know, I never knew, because I wasn't around it. I was like more like sheltered, so I didn't really know what. I didn't see other trans women.
Definitely.
I didn't even see like a lot of I guess what I would say gay people, lesbians, whatever. But it wasn't until I turned 17 and I went to a gay club and I had met a trans woman. She was absolutely beautiful. Her name actually Jasmine International. I had seen her and she was so beautiful to me, and I was like, oh, I want to look just like that. I want to be that. Yeah, that's what it was. And then since the next day, I didn't look no back. I just went straight in, got my hormones, did what I had to go do.
Got the ball rolling.
Shout out to Jasmine.
Yeah, shout out to all the girls that inspire girls to really get on their stuff
Yes.
and handle their business.
Yes, that's what it's about. Inspiration and education.
Most definitely. So I know, Janelle, that you are, everyone knows that you're married to a wonderful husband.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I am. I'm a lucky girl, and he's definitely a lucky guy.
Do you feel like sometimes being a trans woman that people maybe within the LGBT community kind of when they find that you're married, it's kind of like, oh, she's married? Because it's not usually a thing that trans women are, you know, it's not this stereotypical.
Not very common.
Yes. Right.
I do think that there are a lot of reservation when they're introduced to the idea of me being married, because for so long in our community we referred to our boyfriends or our significant others as our husbands. So we kind of lessened the quality of the word husband in our community, or we've kind of given that word out without really expecting the expectation back. So I do feel like I had to kind of dive in a little bit more in some situations and just explain, like, no, this is a traditional marriage, you know, that grew and happened very naturally. And it wasn't something that we just started calling each other, like, that's my husband, or, you know, he was like, that's my wife. No, we really took those words very serious and, you know, made that happen. But I do feel it is very hard to date as a trans woman. I do feel like it is very difficult to date or to even receive love properly as a trans woman when your whole life we've been taught and we have learned this behavior that everything about us is wrong. So in order to love someone else wholeheartedly, you have to get to a place where you can love yourself, where you can be the best person for yourself. So I think it's very hard in our lifestyle just because there's so much self-growth at a later age because we're forced to be in this box and be a specific person for so long. And then when you're able to be yourself, it's like you're learning all over again. So I do think that that is one of the obstacles outside of all of the drama that the boys that like trans women bring to the table.
Ooh.
Yeah. Shout out to all the trans attracted people,
Yes.
men and women out in the world.
Yes.
Shout out to all this no shade, because I know a lot of you all get bad reps for being trans attracted, not only in the LGBT community, but in the heterosexual community as well.
Yes, definitely. So, Lexi, you're single.
I am.
Proud to be single?
I'm not gonna say I'm proud to be single, but I'm not sad about it. I mean, I can sleep well at night knowing I'm not being lied to, or being cheated on, or any of that other stuff. So, I mean, every girl ideally wants to be in a relationship or have someone to share moments with. But I mean, I just feel like once you get to a certain age or a certain place in your life, you're just not willing to settle just to be able to have that title of saying, "Oh, this is my guy or my dude."
Okay, well, I mean, I know Janelle had commented and said, it's hard being a trans woman and dating. Do you find that to be true?
I do find it to be I find it very difficult to date because there aren't many places like to go. As easy as people say, well, oh, you can just go out and you go to a bar, but it's not that easy. Not for a girl. I feel like myself, I could go to a bar, but there's still going to be a point in time where I have to disclose or clarify that I am a woman of trans experience, where there isn't a place where you can go and that every guy that approaches you knows what type of woman that you are. So it kind of makes it difficult because you have to do the whole, should I tell them right off the bat? Should I wait until we have a good conversation or we hang out before I tell them? Or should I make an impression? So it's difficult. And then it's like you don't know what guys are trans attracted. You have guys that will say they don't know or didn't know and know the whole time. You have guys that say it can be tricky and it's very sticky.
Speaking of tricky and sticky, a huge issue with trans attracted individuals. I have two, not issues, but just two things that I think need to be communicated with guys that are trans. With guys or girls that are trans attracted. One is a lot of trans attracted individuals, they don't look at trans people as individuals. Oh, okay. They look at us as we're fetishized. And it's like an ice cream flavor. They're not happy with just being attracted to chocolate and chocolate being their favorite ice cream and committing to that. They want to try every flavor. They want to try strawberry. They want to try butter pecan. And it just gets very tricky. And I think a lot of trans women want to feel exclusive. And we need that love. So when you're when you spread yourself thin in our community, it's kind of hard for us to kind of take it serious. It's like, are you dating me? Am I another notch on the belt? Or is this something serious? If it even makes it that far. That's one issue. Second issue is the same applies to us. We're trans women who are majority attracted to heterosexual men or cisgender males. A lot of trans attracted men automatically think because they like trans women that trans women are supposed to submit and like them back. And that is not true as well. We have a preference the same as you have a preference. So when that preference is not connecting, don't make it an issue. Just move on to someone else that may be attracted to you. Every girl is not going to be attracted to trans attracted individuals. Some girls are strictly attracted to heterosexual gentlemen. Some girls are exclusively attracted to gay or pansexual gentlemen or bisexual gentlemen. So I just think it's very important that if you are a trans attracted individual that you keep in consideration that it's a two-way street. The same way you're attracted, you want to receive that attraction in return. And it's not something that is guaranteed to you.
Yes. Very, very good points. Very, very good points. And just as a disclaimer, we are not the blueprint. For those that can relate to what we say, every girl is not the same. So our point of views and opinions only represent us and girls that can relate to what we say. So that be mindful that every girl is not the same. I think people get in the habit of kind of grouping everyone together and marginalizing every trans woman or every person of trans experience to be the same. And it's not. although we do have a lot of things in common, a lot of our stories are different, and a lot of us do things for different reasons. So don't be mistaken.
That's based around that stigma.
Yes.
There's a lot of stigma attached to trans people. One of the common stigmas is that all trans people are sex workers. Huge stigma that it's not correct. Another stigma is that all trans people have to be the sole provider in their situation. Huge misconception. So I think there's a lot of stigma that is attached with the trans community that should be disattached, and I think everybody should be kind of individualized and learned on their own.
I agree with you. Do you think that our gay LGBT community also perpetuates that kind of stereotype on us?
Of course they facilitate that. A lot of times we are the matriarchs in the LGBTQ community. We're the moms, we're the aunts. We are those individuals. So when you're dealing with someone who you consider your child or your niece or your nephew, and you're giving and you want the best for them, sometimes people misconstrue that for something totally different, and that's how those stigmas get connected. And I just think, like I said, people should be individualized and have an opportunity to be learned uniquely and not grouped or stigma behind a lifestyle that is being perpetuated or lived.
Okay.
Because it's some don't get me started. It's some perpetrated.
It's some stuff going on out there that y'all don't be wanting to talk about.
Like what? Let's talk about it.
Like a lot of stuff, it'd be a lot of shaming. Like how in the LGBT community, there's still a lot of shaming. There's a lot of femme shaming. If there's a guy that's interested in a woman of trans experience, it's become like a taboo, like a, oh, ooh, you like the girl. Oh, that's what you like and that's what you want. And it's not fair because you all set the example of how people in other communities treat us. And if they see that's how we get treated, that's the same way cisgender women treat us, treat men that are trans attracted. If they show an interest to us, automatically what do they say? Oh, he's gay. Oh, you gay. Oh, that's not right. Don't do that. There's nothing wrong with someone enjoying the company. It doesn't always have to be something sexual. Sex is not always on the table for every person and every woman of trans experience. We're not desperate. I repeat, we're not desperate. We're not desperate. We're not lacking any attention, especially from guys. So don't get it twisted and think that we're always out there ready for sex or ready to do something salacious, because that's the furthest from the truth. I know a lot of my girlfriends, right?
Yes.
Anytime there's anything, we're like the Golden Girls. We're the furthest from being anything salacious or provocative. So just be mindful.
Some of us.
Yeah, be mindful. Move back.
Do you think that sometimes, with that being said, about them placing stereotypes on us, like, do you think that they try to, like, for instance, and it's that it has men look at women and they look at me in a mold, or they have to fit this certain mold.
Yes.
And I feel like I've noticed that a lot of gay men love to try to fit trans women in that mold, try to use it as somewhat of an entertainment. Do you find that something that happens?
Definitely. Well, I think we all come from, we all have amazing similarities, but we all come from different avenues in how we conduct in this lifestyle. For me, I have competed in a lot of pageants. I've competed in a lot of pageants, and I've been a showgirl for a little bit of time. I've been in community health. I've done an array of things, and I think when people, as a showgirl and as a pageant girl, we have a little joke. We like, win a pageant, get a boyfriend. There are so many people that are connected to the energies that you put out. There's so many people that are connected with the publicity and the stature that we as the girls have in our community for whatever reason. And that's a huge obstacle as well when dating, because you got to filter out, and I'm just going to be blunt, the groupies. You have to filter out the groupies and the junkies.
The junkies.
It's a word that usually goes in front of the junkies. Yeah. But I don't want to say that.
Well, it starts with the D. We're going to just say that. Yeah,
You know,
like the junkies. You know, well.
You
know
it's
the ones that you can see, like a picture. Somebody can show you a picture of this person, and you can be like,
you're like, I know what he wants.
Been there, done that. Got a t-shirt, not wearing it.
Junkie.
I've been there.
Junkie.
What's your take on it, Lexi? As far as the, certain like gay men or lesbians trying to fit trans women into a mold.
I think it's all across the board. Not only gay men. I feel like gay men use that because they use there are a lot of homosexual men that live through us vicariously because they don't have the courage. And there are a lot of women that live through us, whether it be through getting glammed up and getting their makeup done and getting their hair done, or, being a glamorous girl. Or, certain things, being trendy. And if anytime a person feels that you're not doing what they have set in their mind or their expectations for how you should represent a certain group of people, then they tend to compare you to this. Like, I think we can all agree that we've experienced a time where we've had a homosexual man say, well, that's not how ladies act. That's not something a lady should do.
Yes.
And a homosexual man is the last person that should make that comment to be able to tell me or critique me on how to conduct myself as a lady. Because if you've never lived your life as a woman, you can never know what it's like to be a woman or to conduct yourself as a woman. And I don't think there's a rule book on how to be a woman or a lady, because there are a lot of things that people do in the media or just in the world, period, that some people will say, well, that's not ladylike but you don't know that woman's experience or where she's coming from or her story in order to get an understanding for why she may be reacting or doing the things that she's doing. So it's not a good thing to say or use as an example if you want to compare a girl or a woman of trans experience to another female or something, because that's the wrong. Every woman is different in her own right. Even the most successful women are different, and they all may disagree when it comes to certain things or conducting themselves when it comes to certain things. So you just have to find the beauty in a person being different and accept people for who they are.
And to piggyback off of what you said, I think a lot of it has to do with education. I think a lot of times they say, oh, you're not conducting as a lady, or oh, you're not conducting as a woman. But I think what they're trying to say, and correct me if I'm wrong, ladies, is that you're not using proper etiquette. You're not conducting with couth. You're not conducting with respect. So just if you can educate yourself just a little more and apply what you say, meaning what you say, then I think you could get a lot of a more interesting, a better result. Okay. But a lot of times I think people use the wrong word, or they think that we're aspiring to be the girl next door.
Wrong.
Not at all.
Someone commented said, that's not necessarily true. I'm a gay black man who was raised by women, so I know how women should conduct herself.
But
I agree. You want to?
Yeah, I agree. But that's your experience. There may be some things that were done by the women that you came up around that another woman may feel is not appropriate or may not feel is ladylike. So it's a matter of perspective. You saying that you know how a woman should conduct herself, I agree that you may know, but you can't hold everyone to the that's just like your mother. Like a man meets a woman, and all he knows is his mother. You can't expect that woman that you're courting or you're dating to do everything as if you're a mother. Not saying that your mother is a terrible woman or that she doesn't do everything right.
She does things her way.
Yeah, she does things her way, and you can't expect everyone to follow her blueprint of what it is that she did, because every woman isn't the same. So it's not. I think it's just the wording.
I'm gonna give a candid example. So a candid example. I was in another city and state. Which will remain nameless, and I got into a physical altercation where I was provoked, and my personal space was invaded. So I had to protect myself, and I recall a very close friend of mine saying, "You're not conducting as a lady," but I can recall my mother being in a very similar situation and having to defend herself and protect herself, and that did not make her any less of a woman because of how she had to protect and defend herself. So I think a lot of times it's just, like I said, an education thing, and in reference to your experience personally with the women that you've been around and what you've seen. But, we can only go off of how we feel. A lot of this is feeling. It's not rehearsed. It's not our perception of what we see, and we're trying to mock or emulate. We are just being ourselves. And every day, say it very common. Can I just be me?
Can I? Yeah, every day. Be me? Every day is a new day. And with that being said, it's a double standard. We have to go back. We have to go back to,
because a lot of y'all not acting like gentlemen.
It's not always a trans thing. Sometimes it's a woman and it's a man and a woman thing. And I feel a lot of times men shame women when we are. You feel that we're being over sexualized, or we're doing things, or we're sexually flowing, or we're just living our lives vicariously. It's that's not ladylike to do this or to do that. But guys, you all do a lot of things that are not necessarily gentlemanlike, and no one challenges your masculinity
or your gender identity.
If you're being a man.
Yeah.
No. I know a ton of dudes that don't take care of their kids. He the man on the streets. Y'all just support the wrong thing.
Or those gentlemen that don't open the door, that don't know how to have a conversation that is not sexually based. Those are not gentlemen. They're not conducting like gentlemen. But once again, we can probably talk about.
We could go about that forever.
Yeah, we could. We definitely could. But to kind of like go on, you brought up cisgender women.
John.
Hi, John.
Hi, Natalia. Hi, Marvin. Simone.
Hey, Nisha.
Tanya,
Monty. Bianca.
Hi.
Mom, Danielle. Sky.
To talk about cisgender women, and I know you had made a comment about.
That's my panic word.
Talking about them using our terms and our colloquialisms and all that. How do you feel about that? Is it something that you just deal with?
Well, I'm going to be very blatant, blunt, and clear about this. I think that a lot of behaviors are learned, and I feel like due to the culture and what we do now, a lot of cisgender women are connected with people in the LGBTQ community, so they pick up on the lingo, and they pick up on, certain mannerisms and fashion sense and makeup trends. So I think that those are learned behaviors. But what I dislike about them using those learned behaviors is when they're trying to use them with you as if you guys had that rapport.
Sure.
That is not my rapport with you. So a lot of times because I don't speak like that. So a lot of times when I'm being presented with the, hey girl, let me dish you the tea, or hey, what's up, all that carrying on, I look like I'm so puzzled. Excuse me? I don't understand. I'm not from here, so I don't understand that language.
Is that how you all talk around here?
Yeah, it's not healthy. It's not healthy because, for one, it's not English.
And it doesn't set a good tone.
For two, a lot of it is based around negativity, gossip, and inappropriate things. So I don't want to be connected with that at all. So for me, when I hear cisgender women speaking LGBTQ slang, it's very disheartening because they don't even understand what exactly they're involving themselves in and what picture they're painting for themselves as cisgender women, because they're no longer acting like ladies.
Ooh. Okay. All right. Lexi, you want to add to it?
Did we get a word? That's a word. That's definitely a word, because I think we all experience that, and that's don't do. If we're going to talk about don't do's, if you experience or you come in contact with a woman of trans experience, although you all might not know that we know this, when you greet that person and you do all of that, yes, we know that that's your way of trying to let other people that may not know that we're of trans experience, like that's maybe your silent alarm to let them know this is not just a regular beautiful girl, she's giving it. We don't need any introductions. I think we do very, very well with introducing ourselves without saying anything. So it's not the best thing to do those type of things. And like she was saying, it sets a tone, because if I'm meeting you for the first time and you're on some, yes, ma'am, what's the tea, girl, give it. It puts me in the mindset like you're a little obnoxious and messy, and you really don't appreciate this experience you're getting. It's entertainment for you. And I'm not the one to really entertain, not unless I'm getting, coin for it, but
yeah,
it's just no, yeah, we don't want to do that.
Yes,
Right?
yes,
it's not.
and I can't stress something that annoys me so much with cisgender women. The importance, I don't know what it is in your mind.
I was just
I don't know.
I was just about to go down that route, but no, go ahead.
I don't know what is in your mind or what things condition. And this is not, these statements are not for all cisgender females. Let me be clear about that. But for the ones that are involved and the ones that are invested in what we have going on, I want to know what is the purpose in informing other people that you believe that I'm trans. Because when you meet me, you don't know what my genitalia is. You don't know what my experience is. So I want to know, and I really wish a viewer could answer this question.
Ooh, please.
I want to know, what is it about trans women in retrospect to cisgender women, and why is it so important for you to explain to other people that have not been connected or have any involvement with us the importance of our transition? I want to know, why is that so important to you, to make others aware of our transness that you are not even sure about?
Yes, that's interesting.
That's
I
what I
actually
wanna
just
know.
experienced this on Facebook. Remember, I had a young lady.
Yeah,
I had a young lady that I went to school with, and it was a picture of a cousin of mine, and she said, put up a picture, and I'll put Bae or something cute under. So I just did it, not thinking I put Bae under her picture, and then later on, I guess a guy came and put Bae under my picture, but I never knew that something else had transpired. So she ended up texting him saying, "Take that message down. That's a man."
Ooh.
But she didn't know that I got the message. So, of course, it put me in a, because I didn't even know this was going on.
What is it to you?
And I'm like, what is it to you? And then,
how much money are you getting?
When I confronted her about it, you want to know what she said?
What she said?
She said, I was telling him because he's sleeping with one of my good girlfriends. And I don't know if he know. I said, well, how do you know we don't know each other? She said, you're right. I don't know if y'all already know each other. Mm-hmm. I said, so therefore that would be inappropriate because he could already know what you're maybe trying to volunteer, what you're trying to use against me. And he could already know that could be what he could be wanting. But being that you don't know that and you're on the outside looking in, you shouldn't do things like that. And that shows your insecurity as a woman. Because
definitely.
me personally, I can know a woman that has 10 children at home. And she can sit in a bar and speak to every man and say, hey, I'm single, I have no kids. I don't feel the need to tell her truth. Mm-hmm. Because eventually it's going to be disclosed.
Or we'll get even more detail. The fact that a lot of... we'll get even more detail in reference to, feminine hygiene and how women take care of themselves. So, do you feel like it's important that I go around the bar and tell everybody in the bar that you have a bacteria infection? Or that you have a urinary tract infection? Or that you're sterile and you can't have children? So we have more commonalities than you want to admit. It's not important for us to tell what's going on with you, and we would definitely respect if you could if you're not with it, don't be with it. If you feel like something in the milk ain't clean, turn and go the other way. It's very simple. But if you feel like you want to involve yourself and play with fire, and a lot of times what you ladies do is you really put the guy up on game.
Stop sending them over here. Because that's what y'all do. Y'all send them.
Oh my God.
Because when you're looking the way you're looking 9 times out of 10, in retrospect to somebody that you're trying to defame their character, you're actually giving me a little more publicity. And they're looking at you with eczema or with whatever you got going on, skin, however, and then they looking at me and they see butter.
Not saying anything wrong with having
not at all, but I'm just saying. And then I have eczema on my elbow, so that's why I use it as an example. But then when they look at me as look at, the butter, and they look at the softness, they're intrigued. They want to feel it. It's like a piece of forbidden fruit. Our spirituality and our world was kind of brought into fruition behind eating a piece of forbidden fruit.
Doing something that
temptation.
Was forbidden. Mm-hmm.
So stop tempting these men by telling them that we're trans women, or that if you see somebody trans, and explaining that, because all you're doing really is preventing the trans person from having to tell
and showing your insecurities.
their experience, showing your insecurities, and making the man more intrigued with the experience. So There you have it, ladies. You've heard it from the horse's mouth.
One-on-one.
Tell if you want to. Your man will get carried out.
Yeah.
Keep it to yourself.
He'll stay with you a couple of
9
extra
times out
months.
of 10, we're not even with it. 9 times out of 10, we don't even see it for the kind of guys that y'all carry on.
The things that y'all men's be doing, y'all wouldn't. Y'all. That's another show.
We get carried out.
Y'all can't carry your fucking.
That's another.
Y'all can't carry that. We can curse on here. We can curse. This is not illegal, so we can talk.
But we're ladies, so we don't.
And we want to conduct ourselves as ladies.
Yes. You guys, remember, guys, if you have any questions or any comments,
Yes, please feel free to
Paul.
share this live and make sure that you comment any questions or anything that you want to ask anyone here.
Derwin, Karen, Nam, Sky,
Yes, Auntie Karen.
Richard, Mika, Gerald,
Chastity. Hey, Temperance.
ooh,
20.
Oh, and thank you,
Miss
Julian,
Rita.
for your response. And
Yeah.
I love our give or take. So thank you.
Yes.
yes, we love that. So just back on to the subject of cisgender women. I know a lot of times. I know I've watched like you know, on Facebook they have like the memes and they have like the you know, little videos on Facebook you can watch, whatever. And one of the I watched one video when gay men and trans women feel objectified by cisgender women. They'll come in and they'll automatically feel okay to like, oh,
Yes.
look at you.
Because
oh.
they're over sexualized as trans people, and they're not because there's a lack of representation in media, because there's a lack of representation in our schools of trans people. There are boundaries that are non-existent. So when someone sees a trans person and they're acknowledged that it's trans, they feel the need to. It's no boundaries. Mm-hmm. You know, there are boundaries to be set, and I tell people constantly, being in entertainment and doing shows, I'm constantly meeting people or seeing people that I know, and I explain to them, give me the same respect that you would want someone to give your mom. You wouldn't want anyone to walk up to your mom and grope her breast or grope her behind. So give me that same respect.
Yeah, someone asked what does cis and cisgender mean. You know, to be completely honest, I'm not sure. You know?
Yes, definitely. Cisgender means that your brain matches your gender. So if you were born male, you believe in your mind that you're
I know
male,
that part,
your genitalia is male, and you identify as male. So if you're a cisgender woman, you were born a woman, that's all you know is to be a woman, your genitalia is woman. Trans is when certain things don't connect physically, mentally, or in your genitalia wise. So that's the difference. So when we say cis, we don't want to say straight because there are cisgender people that are straight. Mm-hmm. You know, so I mean that aren't straight. So we say cis is a form of your mind matching your genitalia and how you identify.
Yes.
Hi, Chris.
Hi, Chris. Hey, Chris. Mr. RVA 2017.
Yes. And my boss and my friend. And I can't wait to come back to work this week. I miss you guys immensely.
Okay. Now back on to the topic at hand. Remember, guys, if you have any questions, remember make
no
sure
problem, Keith.
Jeez. Okay. Well, how do you guys feel about the conversation this far? Did we cover anything?
I do think that we do need to tap into girls. Please, I feel we need to work on the unity within the girls. I feel like we've come a long way, and I love all of the girls. Shout out to all
what do you
the
think
women.
Is the barrier?
I feel like it's within the community. I feel like a lot of things I feel like we're pinned against each other automatically. I feel like we can all relate to this. When you first came out, there was always somebody else that automatically had you pinned against, had your opponent before you even came to the forefront.
But is that our doing, or is that the outside forces?
I think it all plays. I think it's collective. I think it's collective. I definitely think it's collective.
Because I just put it into perspective of, like, you know, there's a ton of male rappers that all prosper and all get money out there. But for some reason, when there might just be like 1 or 2 or 3 female rappers, the society pins them, like the media.
Yes, and they feed into it.
It's that double standard. It's those sexist behaviors. But I do feel there is a lot of unity growing in our community, and I would like to attribute that to our trans support group down at the Mocha Center, 189 North Water Street, Suite 1. Every Monday from 4:30 to 6 p.m., we do Living Authentically, which is a trans support group designed to bring unity amongst the girls in our community, focusing on our similarities and not our differences. To touch on why there isn't as much unity, I think a lot of times you get associated with the group of people that you're with. So if you come out with a certain group of individuals, you're their girl. And then you may be another group of individuals, you're their girl. And that's what it is. They want you to feel like you're the only girl and that the other girls ain't nothing. And it just creates a horrible tension amongst our trans brothers and sisters. I've experienced this so many times where I've had to mediate people in our community just so they can get an understanding. And when we get to the mediation, they realize that they never really had an issue with one another, that the issues were based around the groups or the people that they surrounded themselves with. And because they were the staple trans person in that group, they automatically got pinned against the other staple trans person of that group. And I think if we get out of the groups and the cliques and focus on our similarities and our experiences and learn from one another, then we can push forward and learn and push forward and simply be great. But as long as we're tearing each other down and you can't respect your trans sister enough to just respect the fact that she's trans, if we don't look nothing alike, if we don't have anything in common, I know that she is going through a transition. And I know what that felt like for me. So just having the respect, and that is enough to create some sort of sisterhood and some sort of camaraderie where we should be able to move forward from the negativity. There are some girls out there right here in this very community who just can't seem to jump on board for whatever reason, because they want to be connected with negativity, because they want to be connected with gossip, because they want to be connected with inappropriate behaviors in reference to other people's significant others. God bless you. God bless you. It baffles me how we all have so much work to do, how there's things that we all want to accomplish as women, be it physically, be it like we're all in the process of buying homes. We're in home buyer programs. Be it education, there are so many things that we all want to do to move forward. And when we get caught up in the technicality of the inappropriateness and the gossip and the mess, it just hinders you from being able to be productive. So a word of advice to my trans brothers and sisters: let the drama go. Get out your head. It's no beef. And be great.
Spread love, not war. Spread love. We had a few questions too.
Yeah, we have at least a couple questions from Damone T. Hunt. He says, if trans women are viewed as women, how come when cisgender men contact them, some feel the need to expose?
What you think?
If trans women are viewed as women, how come cisgender men contact them? Some feel, like how the girls expose the trade or the celebrity trade and stuff like that, or how the girls expose the guys. I'm going to tell you something.
That has a lot to do with that person.
I don't stand for that. And like we said in the beginning of this show, there's a lot of perpetrators. Everybody that is presenting as trans is not a trans spirit. Everybody that's presenting as trans does not know how to conduct themselves.
And not a good representation of trans individuals.
And to tap on something we said earlier too, when you become an adult, you have to readjust and learn how to love yourself and make a decision on what kind of person you're going to be. Some people never get that opportunity because they're distracted with the mess, with the drama, with the being the girl of their clique. They never get an opportunity to get out of their mind and be great and prosper and grow. Yeah. So,
and I want a lot of trans women for you all to understand this. Disclosing who you are can never be used as a weapon against anyone. You exposing a man or telling another woman that your guy was with, that is a bad reflection of you, because you know what they're going to say? They're going to say, well, you don't value yourself enough to even care that you're trying to use who you are as something to hurt someone. Never will I use who I am or my truth to be able to discredit anyone else, because it has nothing to do with anyone else.
And it also demasculates the man if we're using it in a trans woman in male situation.
Because there's nothing wrong with it.
It demasculates the male. Why would I make a man feel any way about being with all of this goodness? Why?
That's something to brag about. That's not something to expose.
Not at all. But a lot of these girls are thirsty. And they looking for coins.
And they're looking for attention. Not every Facebook Live is educational or of any substance. There are a lot of people that get on live.
I think that's the reality that we're living in now. It's not about privacy anymore. It's all about living out loud and not in a good way. So
and all attention is not good attention.
Yes.
I learned that a long time ago. You have to be mindful of what you put out there, because the same thing that you want them to come and look at.
Thank you.
Yes,
thank you. I gotta come here more often. They bring you
Thank you so much. I want to pose a toast.
Okay.
I want to post a toast to your new living situation.
Yeah.
That we have, we have prayed on, and God has blessed you with something beautiful, an amazing upgrade, and you deserve it, my sister.
Oh, thank you so much, sister. I love you. I love you both.
You're here.
Thank you.
You're here.
Ooh, I love these glasses. Thank you, guys.
This is really apple cider.
Not mine.
Yes. Well, no, it's sparkling.
This is cocktail.
This is really sparkling.
We have one more. We have a question. Why do you feel there are more trans women who escort than ones who actually are in a career?
Okay, because
how can we change that?
Okay. I can answer that.
Okay.
I feel a lot of trans women escort because it is the easy way. I feel a lot of times traditionally we have been discriminated against in schools. We've been discriminated against in the workforce. So that's the easiest way. You have to survive because we have been over-sexualized. That's the easy way out. You got to survive. And I never judge anybody for what they have to do in order to survive.
Yes.
But make it a stepping stone. Make it an opportunity to accomplish the goals that you want to accomplish tangibly and move forward from it. Life is not about getting involved in something and being stuck in it. It's about growing and growth, especially when you're trying to be career focused. So you can't be 70 years old. God bless you. Make 70. Turning it.
What? Selling pussy?
Selling, twirling, doing.
I don't get it wrong. You are extremely talented. If you are in that business, don't let anybody make you think that you're not a hard worker, because it takes sales, customer service. It takes a lot of things. You have to be a strong individual. Not okaying it and saying that that's what you want to do, because I want to see all my sisters. I feel like I hold all of my sisters at a higher standard, because you do have to do what you have to do, and I feel that a lot of times when I was an upcoming girl, I didn't have the resources. Trans wasn't a thing. I remember not having my name changed and having a job at McDonald's and them me having to tell them I want this on my name tag, or me working and guys sitting on me and they not know that I was trans. It wasn't a big thing, but I just wanted to work and I wanted to be a person. Now that trans is such a trending thing, there are a lot of things that you face at work with just being trans. It can become very uncomfortable. I've been in situations and had jobs where people didn't know that I was trans, and all it took was for one person, and it was spread like wildfire. Now you have to not only defend your job or the position that you hold for that company, you have to solidify your position as a woman and that you deserve this position, or you deserve the respect as everybody else as an employee. So I can understand where it comes from, but on the other note, you always want to thrive to be better. You never want to get complacent, and being that we're already trans is so easy to be marginalized, and it's affiliated with so much stigma with being, over sexualized, or people automatically thinking, well, she's trans, she has to be a sex worker. That's not, and it's for us to rewrite our own history. It's not up to anyone else. In order for us to see change, we have to make the change. That's why I encourage both of my sisters, because they get up and go to work, and not that that's anything that anybody else can't do, but it's not always an easy thing to get up and, be who you are for other people, or be someone else for other people. So
that's a fact. And remember, if you can sell yourself, you can sell anything. That's a gateway to getting into sales. Trust me, if you can sell yourself, you can sell anything.
Yeah.
So You know, and I know that it's hard to probably get out of that as well too, because you're making a lot of money, a lot of tax-free money, a lot of money under the table. It's probably hard to transition.
It is
from that.
But I always say, look at the bigger picture. I feel like, I feel like I'm a living testimony. There are a lot of things that I've done in my past that I'm not necessarily proud of, but I can acknowledge them and say that they helped me. They helped mold me into the person that I am, and they definitely put me they put a different perspective over my life in different situations.
Agreed.
Yes,
Agreed.
God. Yes, God.
Agreed. And
But every trans woman isn't a sex worker.
I think we can all. I think we can all attest to that.
Yes.
You know, survival is the name of the game.
Yeah, but it's a go-to for a lot of girls. So a lot of girls choose that over work because not every girl, realistically, has the privilege of going into an establishment and being treated as a young woman.
I think one of the biggest things is no judgment.
No judgment.
No judgment.
Yeah,
And you're doing a solo girl.
Yeah, and then you have people that are seeking you out for being who you are. Versus on a job where they want to shame you or make you feel bad about being who you are, being true to yourself. So I think it's comfortable.
Definitely.
It can become very comfortable. So thank you for that question. That was definitely
a good one. Real quick, I just want to say, as Black Heart Entertainment, we pride ourselves on presenting the culture within our community and restoring unity amongst the LGBTQ of color. With your help and efforts, we can make things much easier. Just visit or like the page for Spilling the Tea with Chasmar Jazzelle and click on our GoFundMe account. Yes. Any size donation will be greatly appreciated. So even if it's $1, it will be okay.
Yes.
So thank you guys.
Yes. Oh my God, thank you for having us on the show.
Oh my gosh, this was so amazing.
Yes,
I love this show.
I feel like we were just like at home, like a regular
that's what
like
I wanted to
Sunday.
feel like us just sitting down having, well, we got a wine. But just us having tea time with my good girlfriend and we're chatting about the things that go on in our life. That's what I wanted to definitely do.
Definitely.
And please feel free after this for you all to inbox us. So just hit us up if there are any questions. So for future references, Jazzelle can address any questions or concerns you all may
it's
have.
about education.
It's all about education, most definitely. So thank you guys for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Thank you guys for viewing. Make sure you like and share this video.
And like Spilling the Tea with Chasmar and Jazzelle, as well as go Black Crown Entertainment on our Facebook page. Thank you. So that's the wrap. I guess sometimes the tea just runneth over. Yes.
Sometimes your cup runneth over.
Like this.
Yes.
Bye guys.
Later.